I'm keep an eye out for Jana on here. Hopefully she can log in. Just double check. Okay. I'm on whenever she can log in. Okay. So I was just explaining to Lily, actually Lily's the only one here today, so you guys are both going to be watching this later. We are taking a break this week from grammar and the binder, writing binder, and we're only going to focus on practicing for the writing test, for the state test. So all you need today is actually a lined piece of paper. I have some if you need. You have one? Okay. Just a lined piece of paper and a pen or a pencil today for class. And I just have up here a couple notes about if you're in grades 3 through 5, which I don't think anyone in this class is, but their essays can be any of these three: informational, explanatory, opinion, or narrative. For our grades 6 through 9, argumentative or explanatory. So explanatory just means, like, you can see kind of the word explain in there. That helps you remember. So it's basically information. So it's going to be pretty easy because you guys are used to doing that, taking articles, looking for information, and then you're going to build a keyword outline from what you read, and then put that together in paragraph form. So you're going to explain something, which is the one we're going to practice today, is explanatory. The other one is argumentative, and that is when you write about, it's kind of like an opinion about something, when you're expressing what you think is best. And it's called, you hear the word argue in there, and it's basically like, if you think cats are better than dogs or dogs are better than cats, you have to explain why and convince your reader that that is the better animal to have at home, that type of thing. It also says you take a position on a topic. So like take a stand on something and support it with evidence and reasoning. So you would use the articles to help support why you believe the way you do. Using words like I argue that, or it can be argued. That'll help you remember argumentative is in there. Or the evidence shows, or in support of, on the contrary, however, although, therefore, in conclusion. So I'm going to attach this to your Google homework this week, explaining the different types of essays that you might see on the test. The test for you in 8th grade, I think you have science too. So I think, unless you did science last year, do you remember? I think it is. So you'll have language arts, math, and science. And you have lots of time to take the test. You don't have to finish it in one sitting because they'll probably schedule different times for you to do it. The language arts means like reading and comprehension. So they'll give you either a story or an article, and then you answer questions about that. And that part's going to be multiple choice. So you'll have like 4 or 5 different choices. Those are the hard ones, in my opinion, because sometimes I get down to 2 and it's like, they both sound good. I don't know which one it is. So some of them will be obvious. They'll be easy to answer. Some of them are going to be harder, and you'll have to, oh, Jane is here after all, I think. That looks like Jane's mom. Anyway, and you'll have to answer questions, find the easy ones. There's going to be some that are easy, and some of them are going to be like really hard. And don't get stuck too long on the hard ones, because it's got, there's a lot of questions on it. So if you have to, I think I talked to you about this last week, if you have to go, my mom, just pick one and then move on. I'll wait till Jana comes in. Oh, Jana, hey. Oh, there's a puppy out there, huh? There's a puppy. Hopefully your mom's okay getting around him. He gets a little crazy sometimes. It's good around cars, but you never know. It always makes me nervous. I'll be right back. You just need a piece of line paper and a pen or a pencil. Okay. Well, Tucker is a wild one. He totally attacked me. I saw him attacking you trying to get in the door.
Wait, what's his name?
Tucker.
Oh.
It's
We have
cute.
a neighbor, their dog's named Tucky.
Oh, that's cute. He jumps so high, he like gets you in the face. It's like he's so little, but he's like crazy strong. I think he's a lab mix, but he seems hyper, more hyper than a lab. So I don't know what he's mixed with, but anyway. We were just talking about preparing for the test. I don't know if you've done your test yet, or do you know? Okay. So it might be this week or next week, it's coming up. So the writing part, there's two parts to the language arts. One will be like multiple choice, and then the other part is the writing. And these are the two types of essays, argumentative or explanatory. So I'm out of breath. Let's look at this. I printed them. Obviously, the test is going to be on the computer. So you'll scroll through stuff, you know. And this is about napping. So if you're tired, I'm sorry. But anyway, it says napping explanatory performance task at the top. You're going to have some buttons on the computer like this for you to use if you need it. Zooming in, zooming out. The clipboard is a place to take notes, but you can use, I prefer, you know, just writing notes down. And then the book is a dictionary. I think you can look up some definitions if you need to on that. There might be other tools like a highlighter tool on there. So I recommend sitting down with your parent and then see what tools they have on the practice, and then you can kind of get familiar with that stuff too. But it's talking about the task here. At first, it says, there has been much discussion in the news recently about the role of sleep and the role of napping. How many hours of sleep is enough? What is too much sleep? What is too little sleep? How do naps fit into sleep cycles? The Journalism Club advisor has asked you to research the roles of sleep and napping as part of your research. You have found 3 sources about sleep and napping. After you have reviewed these 3 sources, you will answer some questions about them, briefly scan the sources and the questions that follow, then go back and read the sources carefully so you have the information you will need to answer the questions and complete your research. You may click on the global notes button to take notes, which I recommend paper. On the information you find in the sources as you read, you may also use scratch paper, which is what you'll get, to take notes. So there's 2 parts. Part 1 is reading it and then answering questions about it. Part 2 is the writing part of it. So at the beginning here, it's just giving you some, you'll read this. I'm going to skip this just for the sake of time today, but giving you kind of a background on how to do the test. Okay. But our part on your paper, like we did last week, we're going to practice writing down your dress up. So up here, instead of where your name goes, just put dress ups here, because this is going to help you write. You're going to make your own checklist, basically. Do you guys remember what dress ups you're using right now in your writing?
LY, which plus clause, www.asia, verb and strong adjective.
Yeah, good. W.Asia. Oh yeah, you said because clause. And quality adjective.
Quality.
Yeah. And basically you're just going to draw your little boxes here just to help you out so that you know you're going to include one of these in each of your paragraphs. I kind of went off my paper here, but you need to put them in the margin, that's fine too.
Do we do our opener too?
And then openers, yeah. So what are the openers, Lily?
The reason is the prepositional operator.
Good, yes, good. And by the way, you don't need to number these for this test. You just need to know to include it somewhere in the paper or in the paragraph, actually. And that's the only one you guys have right now, right?
Yeah.
If you wanted to use some that you will use in grammar, you could add to that like the VSS, the very short sentence, or LY opener if you want to on your test, but at least use the ones that we are already using on your writing. And this should all come from your brain because you're only going to be allowed to have a blank piece of paper. You're not going to be allowed to have a dictionary or your binder or any resources. So that's what I recommend you write down first when you sit down to take the test. You're making a little checklist for yourself. And then on the back, yeah, let's go to the back of your note page. And that's where we're going to set up your keyword outline. So we're going to do 1 and then 1 through 5. Roman numeral 2. Oh, and you can squeeze in clincher in here to help you remember that part too, because that'll help you on your test too. And then Roman numeral 3. So for the writing part of the test, you guys are set. You've done this a lot with me since when we started in September. So you have lots of time, like I already said. It's not timed. I guess your Zoom call will probably be timed. But if you don't finish by the end of the Zoom call, you just schedule another Zoom call and you finish again later. So if you need more time, it's okay. And I think I talked to you last week about taking little breaks is good. Get up, walk around, get a drink of water, do some jumping jacks if you need to. If you're feeling like that tense feeling, you just need to get it out and then come back and sit down and keep going. So now we're ready to see what we're going to write about. So that's what I recommend when you sit down to do the writing. Make yourself a checklist, set up your keyword outline, easy peasy. Then you go to the task. We know that we're writing about sleep. Jump to the second to the last page of this packet really quick, because I want you to, before you start getting into the articles, you're going to find out what exactly you're writing about. So find where it says part 2 right here. Like I said, like part 1 is going to be, yeah, it's right there. Is going to be answering questions. Part 2 is the actual writing part. So it says, you will now review your notes and sources and plan, draft, revise, and edit your writing. You will use your notes, and this is your notes once we fill it in, okay? And refer to the sources. Now read your assignment and the information about how writing will be scored. So go to where it says your assignment. Don't even worry about how they score it, because you're going to already hit all those things that they're looking for, okay? You're going to look at your assignment. Now that you have completed research on the topic of sleep, because it's good to read this ahead of time, even though we're going to go back and read the articles. The Journalism Club advisor has asked you to write an explanatory article about sleep and naps for the next issue of the school newspaper. The audience for your article will be other students, teachers, and parents. Using more than one source, develop a thesis controlling idea to explain about sleep and naps. So you're basically going to come up with a statement about what you think about sleep and naps and the importance of. That's what that means, that thesis statement, controlling idea. This is like your subject of your paper. Okay, we'll practice that. Once you have a thesis controlling idea, select the most relevant information from more than one source to support your thesis controlling idea. I'm sorry, I can't read all of a sudden. Then write a multi-paragraph explanatory article explaining your thesis controlling idea. Clearly organize your article and elaborate your ideas. Unless quoting directly from the sources, use your own words. Be sure to reference the source title or number when quoting or paraphrasing details or facts from the sources. Okay, so you're going to think about sleep and naps, but you can't sleep and nap during the test, unfortunately. And you're going to come up with what are they saying, like the general statement. So each article, we're gonna break up into each Roman numeral. Sometimes in my class, we fold paper, we have A, B, and C and all that. If you prefer that method, you can use that method, but this method is a little bit simpler and quicker for you to pick each article for each Roman numeral. So let's go back to the very front page of your packet. And we're going to talk about that first article on the very front page called How Much Sleep is Enough. So this is where we're going to read. Now you're not going to be able to underline and stuff unless you have a tool to do that. So you're just going to have to kind of keep track of where things are on the page. Today, if it helps you to underline, you can as we go. We're talking about sleeping and napping. So it says, the amount of sleep you need each day will change over the course of your life. Although sleep needs vary from person to person, the chart below shows general recommendations for different age groups. So you can look at the chart, age, like newborns, they need a lot of sleep. They do sleep a lot, 16 to 18 hours a day. Preschool age children, 11 to 12 hours a day. School age children, at least 10 hours a day. That would be you guys. Or teens, maybe you're teens now. Teens need 9 to 10 hours a day. Adults need 7 to 8 hours a day. It's weird how the older you get, the less you actually need. Do you know why that's true? Because you're growing, and your body is still developing. And so your body is spending energy even without you doing anything, just because you're growing. Once you become an adult, you're not growing anymore, maybe in the middle. But other than that, you're not needing that much sleep because you're not spending that much energy inside your body. So I think it's going to explain that though. So we're going to continue. If you routinely lose sleep or choose to sleep less than needed, the sleep loss adds up. The total sleep lost is called your sleep debt. For example, if you lose 2 hours of sleep each night, you'll have a sleep debt of 14 hours after a week. Wow. Some people nap as a way to deal with sleepiness. Naps may provide a short-term boost in alertness and performance. However, napping doesn't provide all the other benefits of nighttime sleep. Thus, you can't really make up for lost sleep. Some people sleep more than on their days off than on work days. I do, by the way, weekends, definitely. They also may go to bed later, that's what I do too, and get up later on days off. Sleeping more on days off might be a sign that you aren't getting enough sleep. Although extra sleep on days off might help you feel better, it can upset your It can upset your body's sleep-wake rhythm. There we go. Bad sleep habits and long-term sleep loss will affect your health. If you're worried about whether you're getting enough sleep, try using a sleep diary for a couple of weeks. Write down how much you sleep each night, how alert and rested you feel in the morning, and how sleepy you feel during the day. Sleeping when your body is ready to sleep is also very important. Sleep deficiency can affect people even when they sleep the total number of hours recommended for their age group. For example, people whose sleep is out of sync with their body clocks, such as shift workers, or is routinely interrupted, such as caregivers or emergency responders, might need to pay special attention to their sleep needs. How much sleep is enough? Oh, that's the article that they used right there. So you don't necessarily need that unless you quote something from the article. You put quotes around it. You would say something like, in the article called How Much Sleep is Enough, it said, comma, quote, and then you could actually pick a quote from the article if you want. It's not mandatory, but you can if you want to. So basically that first article is obviously talking about how much sleep we need. And we're going to keep that in mind, and we're going to decide on our 3 topics in a minute here. But I would say the first paragraph is probably gonna be about the amount of sleep we need, like what's required for our bodies to stay healthy. But I'm gonna keep going so that we can get a full picture of what the articles are all talking about here. You guys have any questions about that first article? Okay. So in source 2 on that page, it says this article appeared in a consumer health magazine and uses historical accounts, career-specific research, and current attitudes to discuss napping. So I think paragraph 1 is going to be about sleeping and paragraph 2 is going to be about napping. That's my opinion right now, but we're going to keep going. And it says the secret truth about napping. Okay, just so you know, you're going to figure out the secret. Secret truth. Okay, napping only for kids? In general, Americans regard napping as an unproductive habit. They think that only little children should take naps. However, there is evidence that napping can benefit people of all ages. Famous nappers. Many famous historical figures have been nappers. American presidents John F. Kennedy, Ronald Reagan, and Bill Clinton all took frequent naps to help them deal with the pressures of leading a powerful nation. I did not know that, by the way. Interesting. Napoleon Bonaparte, a French emperor, often gave rousing speeches at a moment's notice. Perhaps this was due to his habit of taking frequent naps. Winston Churchill, who helped lead the Allied powers to victory during World War II, slept for at least an hour every afternoon. He stated that a nap could renew a person's energy. Oh. I didn't staple that very good. So I think it says, okay, other famous historical nappers include the brilliant scientist Albert Einstein and the world-changing inventor Thomas Edison. The amazing artist Leonardo da Vinci also took naps. They all had unusual sleep patterns that allowed them to work in a focused and creative way. Maybe if Edison had skipped his naps, he would never have invented the light bulb. Maybe Leonardo would have been too sleepy to paint the Mona Lisa. Naps for certain careers. Scientific studies show the benefits that naps can provide for individuals with unusual work schedules. Examples include astronauts and certain medical personnel. The human body operates according to an internal clock. This clock operates in relation to the Earth's pattern of darkness at night and bright light during the day. When a person's internal clock is in sync with her or his habits, the person can most likely sleep well at night and remain awake and alert all day. If the person's job makes for interrupted sleep or sleep at odd hours, the internal clock can be confused. Then the person has trouble getting enough sleep. Astronauts traveling in space are not exposed to regular patterns of light and darkness. As a result, astronauts average 2 hours less sleep than usual during every night when they spend in space. They often have trouble concentrating. They also become grumpy. NASA decided to study whether astronauts should take naps. They did research with volunteers. The researchers found that napping improved memory, but not alertness. NASA researchers also concluded that longer naps worked better than shorter ones. Mark Rosekind of NASA, who conducted the research, stated that even a 26-minute nap boosted a pilot's mental performance by 34%. A 45-minute nap gave roughly the same mental boost, but the boost lasted more than 6 hours. Doctors in training, known as residents, work very long hours. As a result, they are often sleep deprived. Emergency room doctors working at night also have problems sleeping. Sleep experts recommend that these health workers take short naps on the job. A team of researchers led by David F. Dings, a professor at the University of Pennsylvania, found that letting subjects nap for as little as 24 minutes improved their mental performance. So even short naps can reduce the number of mistakes a tired person makes. This is a long one. The main takeaway seems to be that a deep sleep, whether it is nighttime sleep or daytime nap, primes the brain to function at a higher level, allowing us to come up with better ideas, find solutions to puzzles more quickly, identify patterns faster, and recall information more accurately. And then it's talking a little bit more about naps here. Let me just see where that other article is. Okay. Siesta, tradition. There is a word in Spanish, in the Spanish language, to describe the habit of taking a nap in the mid-afternoon, siesta. However, taking a midday nap is common not only in Spain, but it is also common in Greece, where people traditionally take a break in the middle of the day. They eat a large meal and then take a nap. That sounds nice. It is not the big noontime meal that makes Greeks sleepy. Evidence suggests that people in general become drowsy between 2:00 p.m. and 4:00 p.m. In fast-paced America, workers and students usually fight to stay awake during this so-called nap zone. After a nap, people tend to be happier and more alert. They do better and avoid mistakes. Nappers may even have better long-term health than non-nappers. In 2007, a study by the Harvard School of Public Health discovered that people who took 30-minute naps at least 3 times a day were 37% likely to die of heart disease. Wait. People who took 30 minutes at least 3 times a week or 30. Oh, less likely. That makes sense. Furthermore, the study found that even people who napped for less than 30 minutes or napped only 1 or 2 times per week were 12% less likely to die from heart disease. In a 2011 study, researchers at the Allegheny College found that napping was a factor in lowering blood pressure after mental stress. The people in the study who took a daily 45-minute nap on average had lower blood pressure after taking a mental stress test than those who didn't have a nap. And then finding time to sleep. And these tests are long, so you have a lot of reading to do. And but basically you're absorbing the information. Do you have a question? Okay. So you have lots of time. Just remember that. Finding time to sleep. But finding time to sleep or to nap can be challenging. Students involved in sports or other extracurricular activities after school aren't often able to find time to nap before even evening sleep time. And finding places to nap during the day at school is challenging. Yeah. However, Anton Anderson, an English teacher at Greenwich, Connecticut High School, decided to do something to help the waves of weary teens as he was seeing every day. In 1998, he founded the Power Napping Club, which allows students to nap for 20 minutes at the end of the day before going on to extracurricular activities. Its motto, it was Veni, Vidi, Dormici, and that's Italian for I came, I saw, I slept. The Power Napping Club co-president emphasizes the boost that naps provide. Obviously, it's no substitute for sleep, but I definitely feel more relaxed afterwards, she says. So that could be a quote you use if you want in yours. Okay, and then the next page is all the references to that article. That's just for your information. So then source 3, it says here is a letter asking for advice on the subject of sleep. The doctor who responds is the editor of a medical advice column for a newspaper. So it looks like this one's going to be about the sleeping pattern. This one's going to be about the importance of napping. And then this one's going to be in response to this letter from the doctor. so it's 2 letters. It's to the doctor and then from the doctor. So dear Dr. Vessler, I'm a 12-year-old middle school student who usually gets about 8 hours of sleep a night. I often feel tired when I get home from school at 3:30, and I want to be alert and energetic in the evening so I can focus on all of my homework. However, when I tried taking a nap, I slept for 2 or 3 hours. When I woke up, then I woke up groggy. What can I do so I will have more energy in the evening? Sincerely, too sleepy. So that happens sometimes. I don't know if that's ever happened to you where you take a nap and you sleep like a long time in the middle of the day, and then it's like, whoa, you're like fuzzy and dizzy and confused. So sounds like there's a perfect time frame that's best, but dear too sleepy. Now this is from the doctor. Good for you thinking of ways to increase your productivity for schoolwork. The first thing I would like to point out is that you are not getting enough sleep at night for someone your age. I recommend that you go to bed earlier. Remember, the most important thing you can do is to sleep more at night. On nights when you don't get enough sleep, napping can help to recharge your body and increase your mental alertness. Did you know that 85% of animals sleep in short periods throughout the day? Humans are one of the few species that do most of their sleeping at night. Introducing a cat nap into your day might be helpful. In fact, studies show that taking a short nap after learning new information may help you remember that information better. I do not, however, recommend a 2 or 3 hour nap because napping for several hours during the day can make it hard for you to fall asleep at night. It can also be difficult to wake up after a long nap. According to research by David F. Dings, napping is for as little as 24 minutes improved mental performance. Short naps also don't cause the post-nap groggy feeling that accompanies after long naps. Almost done. Okay. Another important issue to consider is when to take your nap. You don't want to nap too late in the day. Why? Doing so can make it harder for you to fall asleep at night. I recommend that if you decide to take a nap, you should do so right after you get home from school. Set a timer for about 24 minutes so you don't oversleep. You will most likely wake up refreshed and have more energy to focus on your homework in the evening. Sleep well, Dr. Daniel Vessler, MD. And then those are the references for that. So now that we've kind of absorbed the information from the articles, your assignment is to write and it says right there again, write an explanatory article about sleep and naps for the next issue of the school newspaper. The audience for your article will be other students, teachers, and parents. Okay, so your subject is obviously sleeping and napping both. So let's think for a minute on the different topics we could do. I'm trying to think if it's better to split it up like we talked about. I'm thinking that would be easier for you on the test. So I don't know what kind of a question you're going to get. So this is, or what type of a topic or subject you're going to get. So this is just for practice. I would put next to Roman numeral 1, sleeping. And then next to Roman numeral 2, oops, I didn't really make that right. Put napping. And next to Roman numeral 3, I think we put doctor's advice. That goes along with the 3 articles. I think that's going to be easier for you to track on that. And obviously we still have room for a couple more words for that topic and this topic. And then this one only has 1 more space. So as you're taking notes for your writing part of your test, remember the rules are going to still stay the same. For the test, if you have to put a 4th word or a 5th word, it's okay, because this is not like homework for me. But to just try your best to keep your keywords only to 3, then you're not risking like copying too much information. So that's why it's a good rule of thumb. And you can still use numbers and symbols and abbreviations like we always do. So that's how I would set up your outline. Going back to sleeping, what are a couple other words that we could put for your topic part? Going back to first, when it talked about the importance of sleeping. That article was mostly about getting enough sleep and the different ages. So we could do words like age and amount, because it depends on your age, how much you should have, sleep. So we could put that, age and amount. So let's just focus on that first paragraph for now, that first Roman numeral 1. I'm gonna give you guys some time just to work on this right now. Looking at the first article, it starts at the bottom of that page, but then it continues. I want you to, at least for practice today, at least try to get 3 facts written down. When you're doing the actual test, you'll want to try to get 4 and 5 as well. But right now, go ahead and just look at that first article and try to come up with some details to include on your outline. And you can use the chart if you need to also, if you want to use information from that. And then let me know if you guys have any questions about that. So at this point, you really don't have to reread it, but you can just kind of skim it, find information that you want to include. Made it to 3, that's good. Have you made it to 3 yet?
Yeah.
Oh, good, you guys are good. Okay, cool. So, and then let's go on, and obviously during the test, if you want to get all the way to 5, that's good, you can. And then the next article is about napping. So go ahead and work on that one next. And I think they were talking about, well, let me ask you, what are 2 words that we could put with napping? Like, as a topic? What do you think? I mean, if you think back on the article, what is it mostly talking about? Other than napping?
Mm,
Were they encouraging napping?
Mm.
So maybe the benefits of napping?
Yeah.
Yeah, or like even in that title, The Secret Truth, you could even put secret truth if you want to put those 2 words, or benefits and people or something like that. So whatever 2 keywords you want to put there. It's because I think that article is mostly, I mean, talking about famous snappers and everything. I mean, that's pretty cool. I didn't even know that. And then traditions in different countries. So I would keep your topic about the benefits or secret truth about napping, and then put some things that are positive about napping there. And you got a lot to choose from, so. We can work on Roman numeral 2, and then we'll talk about 3. Things are doing great. Are you already on to 3?
I finished 3. I
Oh,
finished
good. Okay, cool. So yeah, you can keep going on to 3 about the doctor. You're quick, Lily. Um, before you get into that too far, it is asking for an introduction and a conclusion. So these 3 body paragraphs would be what's in the middle. And then you would include an introduction at the beginning and a conclusion at the end. But have we talked about that in class yet? I think we did last year, yeah. So for your introduction, and if you don't have room on that page, go ahead and get a clean one if you need it, or if you have one, okay. Let's put on that new piece of paper, I'm just gonna erase this for now. Let's put introduction on a clean sheet of paper. And your introduction at the top is gonna be just a Roman numeral 1 and then 1, 2, 3. So your Roman numeral 1 is gonna be that thesis. That's what they're asking for. And we've talked about this last year in Jana's class, but a thesis is basically what is your paper about? And your paper is about the importance of sleeping and napping, right? That's the main part of your paper. That it's not something we want to ignore. It's something that's really important in our lives. So I would put next to Roman numeral 1, importance, sleeping, napping. That's your thesis, and that's how you're going to support that throughout your paper. And you want to start with an attention getter. So you might say something like a question. It might be like, are you getting enough sleep? You can start with that question, and that,
Or how much sleep are you getting?
or how much sleep are you getting? Or it could be a quote from one of the articles that you liked, something that you read, and there is like, that's kind of cool how they said that. You can start with a sentence like that. So this would be your attention getter. Actually, go ahead and put attention getter right here. And this will be how you start your paragraph. I'm just going to draw a little arrow here. I'm kind of going backwards on this, but it's okay. You're going to start explaining, or start by grabbing their attention with a question or quote. Then you're going to go into the importance of sleeping and napping. And then you're going to list your 3 topics that you wrote about, which was sleeping, napping, and a doctor's opinion, right? So your 3 main topics here, go ahead and put just on next to number 2, put 3 topics. That's where you're going to list your topics. So you might start your introduction with, are you getting enough sleep? And then you can write your 3 topics and say something like, it is important that you make sure to get enough sleep at night and take naps if necessary during the day, and make sure you talk to a doctor about what's best for you. Because those 3 are your 3 main topics: sleeping, napping, and the doctor's opinion. So you would list those 3 topics here. And then the third part, let me remember what goes at the end here of the introduction. Oh yeah, is a little background information. So something like, if you feel tired throughout the day, that's a sign that you're not getting enough sleep. So we could just put background here for number 3. If you include these, you're basically introducing, that's the introduction, you're introducing what you're going to talk about, and then your 3 body paragraphs are your other notes that you did. And then the conclusion, go ahead and skip a line and put conclusion here. And that's also going to be, actually, this is going to be Roman numeral 5. Sorry, it should be a V. So technically those other Roman numerals are like 2, 3, 4. So you have Roman numeral 1 for introduction, 2, 3, 4 for the body, and then 5 for the conclusion. I hope I'm not confusing you guys, but that's okay, good. And then 1, 2, 3 here. Because these can be shorter paragraphs. So here you're going to start out by listing those 3 topics, sleeping, napping, doctor's opinion. And then you're going to talk about most significant. And you can review these notes before you do your test. You're going to think about what's the most important thing about everything that you read about and everything you're writing about. What's the most important thing and why? Obviously, that's having enough energy to get through your day, right? So the most significant thing about sleeping and napping is to make sure you can function to your fullest ability, or to make sure that you're effective in your work during the day and that you can complete tasks, and however you want to say that. And then you're going to explain why this is significant, because you may not be able to complete your tasks for the day if you don't get enough sleep, or a reason why you need sleep. Okay. And then just like a final statement, you're going to restate your thesis. Remember, your thesis is this right here. The importance of sleeping and napping. It feels like you're saying the same thing over and over and over again, and you are. That's how it's set up for an essay like this. You're basically telling them what you're gonna say, and then you say it in the middle, and then you tell them again what you just said. So it's okay to repeat a lot like that. That's how the structure of a 5-paragraph essay is. You're going to be typing this. So once you get all your notes down, you're just going to use your notes like you always do, making sentences with them. And then you're going to use your little checklist to make sure to include those types of words in there. So plan on it taking a couple hours to just do the writing part of the test. So if you do the reading part and you only have like 30 minutes left for the writing part, just get as far as you can. And then you'll have to, log in another time to finish it up. But don't stress about it, because it's really, it's what I explained last week. The state just wants to see where everybody's at as far as in their skills for language arts and math, and maybe science if you have science this year. So any questions about it? I know that was a lot. So you guys don't have to write this. Okay, I'm going to assign you something different for your homework for practice. And you don't have to do any grammar this week, which is nice. We're going to take a break on grammar. So I'm going to give you more of like I think it's going to be another explanatory paper. I don't remember what the actual topic is, but it'll be something different. And you'll just practice the steps, like setting up your own checklist, reading through everything, getting an idea of what they're looking for, looking at each article. What is each article doing? The body paragraphs. What is each article about? Building that keyword outline, and then your introduction and your conclusion. So you end up with 5 paragraphs, if you can. These can be shorter. The body paragraphs are more like 6 sentences, including the Roman numerals. So. And I'll include this too on the Google Classroom. This is just a list of the different types of essays, because it's possible for you to find an opinion essay or even a narrative essay. So opinion is, like I said earlier, it's like argumentative. Cats are better than dogs. Dogs are better than cats. It's an opinion. And then you have to defend why you said that. Okay. If you're writing a narrative, that's going to be like your story sequence chart. You guys remember back when we did that one? Yeah, so we had characters and setting, and we had problem and conflict, and then the resolution and climax. So think about that, and you can set that up if you're writing a narrative, because it might be a creative story. So I don't know what you're going to get. It's like random. But this will be on your Google Classroom, where it explains each type of essay and what they're looking for. Do you guys have any questions about that? Anything? Okay, good. Yeah, you're good. You guys are gonna do great. It's always good to get it done, and then you can move on with life, and then you just move on. But now you're ready, you know what to do. Another thing, if you're taking the test, because it is a lot, you guys are getting into the older grades now, it's a lot. It's gonna be a lot. If your parents want you to take a break from my homework, you can, okay? It's okay with me, but it's up to your moms if they want you to or not. Because sometimes you get really tired, speaking of napping, during the testing week, because your brain is working extra hard, right? You're so focused and you gotta get all that done. So if they want you to just focus on testing and take a break from my homework, just let me know on it. Either have your parent text me or email or just let me know. Like, I'm gonna have Jana take a break this week, or I'm gonna have Lily take a break this week, or Arabella, you know, whatever you guys need to do. So. Okay, I think that's it. Good job today. So look for your homework on Google Classroom. And since you guys don't have any questions, that's it for today. Turn this off.